Facebook and Zoom record when they record it, just when we think we have a rhythm going, it changes. So thank you for bearing with us. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Morning Grace. It is June 13th. We're almost halfway through the month of June. And I am Reverend Marianne, joined here with the beautiful Reverend Jamila Jamie. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to start doing my hair like this a little more often then. I was being courageous with my hair today and did a little different. So.
And there you go, an opening on our topic today of courage. But before we get started, let's gather all of our energies, whether you're joining us live or whether you're joining us via recording. It's always so important, I think, to just gather and just center our energies in this moment, to take in whatever it is that Source wants to give us as far as messages and wisdom and guidance for getting us through the day, the week, the hour, sometimes the minute. Mm-hmm. So as you're able, close your eyes if it's safe to do so, or just quiet your heart, quiet your mind, still your soul. Give yourself a huge squeeze, hug if you need to. And we're in this place where hugs and physical touch for some of us are so needed and so necessary. And as we're getting to a place where it's a little bit safer to do so after this terrible pandemic that we've been in, that we've learned about ourselves a little bit. We've learned what's important. We've learned the everyday simple things that mean so much to us, that were changed or lost or had to be put aside. And physical human touch and hugs were among them for so many of us. So just give yourself that moment to just take in whatever love, whatever support, whatever comfort, whatever warmth you need. And feel that calm, feel that support, feel that love. And know that in this moment, it comes from thinking about what it is that serves your soul. And it comes from Source. It comes from above. It comes from below in the grounding of Mother Earth. It comes from all sides of us, from the human angels that walk alongside us, those earth angel souls that we encounter in life. And know that in our darkest days, our most difficult of days, those days when we need to summon courage, yes, summon courage, this is the place we can come. We have the tools within us because they've been given to us. And all we have to do is reach to them. So know that you can count on yourself and you can count on the universe to give you exactly what you need at the exact right moment. Trust it, know it, feel it, be it. Bring your awareness back to this place, this time. Give yourself a squeeze. And let's go and discover a little bit more about courage.
Beautiful. I never want to open my eyes back up when we do, or you do these, because I'm just like so relaxed and like, I'm good. I'm going to stay right here. Everybody can stare at me for 30 minutes as I'm just like,
today we are going to talk about courage. But before we do, I just want to go a little off topic. And I would like to say that I had the honor of participating in the ordination ceremonies on Friday for our 6 newest ministers. And let's see if I can do this without any prompts. We have Reverend Kim, we have Reverend Nelia, we have Reverend Janice, we have Reverend Beverly, Reverend Vanessa, and Reverend Cindy Blue. And I will be sharing on our Divine Order of the Sacred Rose Facebook page a little bit more about each of those ministers who you have all had a chance to hear from over the last 3 months as they've joined Reverend Alvia and just taking a Sunday morning Grace Sunday. And I am very prayerful that we will hear from some of them going forward next season in Sunday Morning Grace as well. Each one of these beautiful women is unique and has a very special loving energy that she brings to our community, in addition to all the other beautiful ministers that we have out there that we don't hear from as often as we would like, and hopefully that will change as well. But just want to again say congratulations and welcome, Reverends. So moving on to our topic of courage. This morning, as I was walking the dog, Jamie, we didn't discuss what we were going to talk about at all, because it just all flows. When it's organic, it seems to be rich and so full. So other than kind of coordinating the order that we're going to go, we don't talk much about what we're going to share. But I was given the image of what does courage mean? And what courage came to me as meaning is, I saw this dictionary and it was a page of pictures of faces. And I would venture to guess that just as I could come up with a bookload of people that to me exude courage, you know, a boatload of people that are courage. They embody courage. And I think what I did not include, and what I was told at the end of looking at my book, where's your picture? Because we embody courage as well. And for me, I tend to not include myself in something strong and powerful. And courage is something that is strong and is powerful. And I'm just going to share my screen here for a minute, because I found this beautiful image the other day, and I saved it because it was so beautiful. You can choose courage or you can choose comfort. You cannot have them both. By Brené, I think it's Brené Brown. But you can choose.
Yeah, Brené Brown.
You can choose courage or you can choose comfort, but you cannot have both. And isn't that just so true? Courage is really stepping outside that comfort zone.
I agree. I was thinking, because when I coach people, this is one of I have 9 resiliency keys that I focus on. And I think I mentioned the other month on here. And courage is definitely one of the themes that I work with a lot with people and within myself, and just how courageous and the many layers and aspects of courage that there are, and I always think too that sometimes we associate courage with letting go, but we don't always speak on the courage that it takes to allow yourself to receive. And that kind of stuck out to me a little bit this morning as I was, pondering, like, what is it, around courage, and I always think of, like, of course, like, the first place my mind goes is like, do you, do you feel courageous enough to be in, living in as your authentic self? And because it can be scary to be us, right? Because we're vulnerable, we're like open to judgment. Everyone is, understandably, we're all a little tired and wore out, and and it takes so much energy to not be ourselves. But yet, that if that fear is there to really show up and be who we are, it's like, and it's so real. And I think, so many times when we work with people, it's like they're so afraid to be seen, and seen for who they are. And I think, especially as light workers, if you just want to sidetrack there and go out there, I think many of us were probably some considered a witch in one of our past lives, if that's your thing, right? So we kind of have this like sorceress syndrome of like, oh my gosh, if I'm seen, they're gonna, it's like the witch trials all over again. And now, granted, while that might not be an exact reality here, but like there's still like this deep-seated fear of being seen. And it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to walk away from the things that keep us from our authenticity. But it also takes a lot of courage to ask for what we need to fully stand in the power of who we are. And I've been speaking so much because the energy is so right now for us to tell, these stories of the authenticity of, what we need to show up to be who we are, and the choices that we have to make in doing that take a lot of courage. And it's scary because even if, we know who we are at the core of our being, because we do just want light and love for everyone and everyone to be happy and feel good, we can really sell ourselves short. And it takes a lot of courage even to put ourselves first. It takes a lot of courage to look at our relationships and say, is this right for me? And the relationship part right now is, still big on the scenes, but it's not even necessarily romantic relationships. It's as we're going forward writing these stories, and really we're so universally supported by the alignments right now to really, and not just tell the story, having the courage to tell the big story, the big dream, that story that like you want so desperately in your heart, but it may seem impossible because it's like, that's unrealistic. Like, I go through this, right? I'm just me. I'm just Jamila. Like, who am I to deserve that story or that, and I've been so
Right.
blessed though, as I'm countering it, I'm actually really starting to live my dream, which is allowing me to have the courage to dream even bigger and ask for what it is that I truly want. Now, granted, sometimes things come along and I have to take action, right? So tell the universe what I want, and then like, here's something to respond to. And I'm like, oh, like I want it, but I don't know, and again, it's like get that courage that when we, have, it's like having the courage to get real with ourselves, then having the courage. And this is another thing that came forward to me. How many times in our own unbalanced states have we been like, they have the audacity to ask for that? And maybe it's not actually audacity, it's they have the courage to ask for that. Now, don't get me wrong, some people have an audacity. It really appears to ask for things. I mean, I'm going to keep it real.
Yeah.
But when I was looking, I was thinking back, like, oh my gosh, how many times when I was in my own, space of not being in alignment and thinking, like, who does she think she is? I can't believe she has the audacity. And I was like, oh, self check for me. But in that space, and then I realized as I was, revisiting, like it wasn't audacity, it was courage. And I was just in a space that I couldn't see it for that. So
Mhm.
again, we had, the courage to get real with ourselves, the courage to ask, and then the courage, of course, to let go of some things, because we, if we're so crowded and cluttered with things that aren't serving us or our highest good, there's no room, so the courage to let go what you need to let go of, but then also the courage to receive. And I think we live in, a world where it's like, the more you do for yourself, you're rewarded. Oh, look at you, you did all this and that, and then you usually end up burning yourself out. So if, and again, we've spoken on vulnerability in the past, but being vulnerable to ask, because I mean, yeah, sometimes somebody might say, no, I can't do that for you. And that's okay. But at least you asked, like you initiated that energy. You had the courage to ask. And in doing that, it tells the universe, like, yes, look, I'm serious about this. And, so if somebody says no, it doesn't mean that, it's a flat out no, maybe, but you can, so, rather than being like, "Ah," like in shutting down, just saying, okay, that's not the way for me. Now I'm going to have to, get the courage to ask, can you show me another way? Is there something I'm missing? But there's so much, many moments when courage comes forward when we really step into this place of standing in our own truth and our own alignment, but also trusting that, like, it's okay if you get told no, even if it doesn't feel good. And it's okay when you get the yes and it doesn't feel good, because now you're like freaking out because you have to level up, and it's like the courage to stand in this new level of your being. And when we're not, when something's new, we don't necessarily feel comfort or security in it. Even when it feels good, sometimes there's still these parts are like, but oh my gosh, what if it goes back? Oh my gosh, what if it doesn't last? We can really, get there. But even when those thoughts creep in, again, the courage to say, but oh my gosh, what if it does? And this is only the beginning, you
Well, it's
know?
feeling the fear and doing it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and what beautiful gifts. Because when somebody has the audacity, the word that you used, which is a heavy word too, but when they had the audacity, if you change that word to courage, they had the courage to ask. And when you have the courage to accept, because whether it be fear, because you're fearful, you don't feel worthy, you are concerned that you might not give it what it needs, but when you're successful and when it leads you to another step and a growth, and it's good in the end, you've grown and you've been given a gift, and it's a blessing. And when somebody has the courage, let's change audacity to courage. When they have the courage, when it's truly a courage and they're stepping out of their comfort zone to ask, somebody who is typically always doing for themselves, and they have the courage to say, I need you. And you have the ability to say, because of your own courage, it's not for me to do for you. Again, a gift. And if we look at stepping into our power, into our own personal courage, and to accept and do what feels right at our core, we're always, always, always going to get that gift.
It's two things came to mind when you said that. Our word for the morning, do we have the courage to be accountable for ourselves?
Yes.
And I right, I was like, oh, the accountability is coming back in, and the courage to be accountable, right? And then also, oh, it just flew right on out my head. Well, it'll come back, because if I stand here or keep trying to figure it out, we're gonna be here for maybe 3 days. If it's meant to come back, it'll come back. but
Okay.
but yeah, that the courage to be, hold ourselves accountable was really, and the courage to create the communities that we need, the courage to change location if we need, like the courage to put ourselves in those positions to receive the support even. It just, there's a lot of courage. That's it.
Right. Courage, it's not a very long word, but it is truly a very powerful and strong word. And it's a very positive word. And it's, if you think about the Cowardly Lion in The Wizard of Oz, it's about standing up for ourselves, and it's about showing up for others. And so up is really part of the word. It's courage up, showing up and just standing up.
And I was just reading our newly adorned Reverend Cindy Blue is joining us via chat this morning. And
Good
she had said,
morning.
I always check myself and realize that when someone is giving to me, for me not to accept, this allows grace for us both. And I just wanted to share that because it just felt really yummy.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And it's having the ability to say yes or no with
Mhm,
love
mhm,
from the heart,
mhm,
with purpose. So
I love that.
thank you
I
for
love
that.
that because sometimes, people do like they mean well and they want to offer us things. And
Mhm.
it's like you just know, like it's really like this just isn't for me right now. But meeting them with the grace, that Cindy mentioned, but still being able to meet them with the grace of, I appreciate this and not at this time, if it really doesn't feel right for you. But again, like honoring and acknowledging, and even in that, having the courage to say no. I
Mhm.
think sometimes because we want to please, so we'll just say yes, and this is a theme in
Right.
my life, so it's like, yes, yes. I just say yes because so even the courage to say no when needed, that's probably been one of the hardest things for me to do is to say no. Because I'm always, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, or I don't, but finding the ways to when it's really not right, because I mean that's another thing, sometimes we just say yes. And I
And having the courage, let's turn that around to having the courage to say yes
mm-hmm,
as a strong, independent woman who has been
mm-hmm,
forced to do a lot of things on my own.
mm-hmm,
It takes courage sometimes to say, yes, I can't do
mm-hmm,
this myself.
mm-hmm,
I need help. It takes courage to ask for help, and it takes courage to accept help.
mm-hmm.
So,
It takes courage to make the big, like big decisions. Even like I had to be courageous enough to I made my first investment, and I'm like looking at mine now, right? I'm like, oh my God, I've adulted. I like actually have stocks. It was so scary because the old me and my old story, I couldn't take that risk. I couldn't take that chance because I wasn't abundant enough, and it's like I'm entering into this new phase of my journey where, I do. So it's like takes a lot of courage for me to rewrite these things. And of course, being logical and not irresponsible. And, but like it really was okay for me to make an investment. And yeah, so I had two big things, I was able to get a car and I invested in stocks, so it was just like, but like again, it took a lot of courage because of my old story. That
mhm,
was not happening. That was not a possibility. And to get a car was not that easy. It was always a headache. It was always a stretch. It was always a I don't know, so to be able to step out and like trust and have the courage to say like I can do this and I can do this. And there are things that are, good for my future. Hopefully, if I make the right investment, it's good for my future, but more than that, it was the courage to step into the story that I'm preaching everybody write these new stories. So for me to have the courage, even on my part, which might not seem like a big deal to some people because it's like, oh, I have a 401k or I have this, we invest, for me, like I've never done that, so to have the courage to do that was like actually deeper on a deeper level because it was the courage of me stepping into my new story and stepping into the truth of, who I am and the alignment of where I'm at right now. So that was like, oh my God. Oh yeah, that was huge. And it was like good things.
congratulations. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, it was really good things, but it was like it took a lot of courage to not what if myself and to trust that this is now only the beginning of even more. And like, but again, just to have the courage to step into this newness and this new level and of my being was like, oh. Mhm,
So I'm feeling complete.
mhm.
You?
I am too. Yes, I am. And I just want to say hi again to Sinye, to Barbara and Janice. All of our ministers are here today. This is beautiful.
Good morning, ladies. Good morning.
Mhm.
And again, whether you're joining us live now or you're listening and watching us at some point during the week or over the summer,
Yeah.
We
Oh no, we have to announce this is our last.
this is our last Sunday morning grace for the season. We'll be back in
Just the
September.
season. We will be back in September, but
Um,
it still makes me sad when I.
but
Oh.
I encourage you because it's not that we're going away. We're just taking a little bit of break from our live weekly appearances, but growing, learning, and in just absorbing never goes away. So whenever you are watching this, we encourage you to share your thoughts, your comments, your input, because let's keep the dialogue going. And definitely would love to hear from you. So feel free, chime in. We will, we always are checking online. We may not be living online, but we do check.
I love it. And Revelvi is here too. That's why I was smiling even bigger. I'm like, yeah, the whole family's together today. What a beautiful way to start the week.
So we're not finished yet. Reverends Carolyn and Dawn will be on next Sunday at 10 to talk about, continue the conversation about courage. And then we'll have one more week before we actually sign off for a couple months break. But the page will still be active. You'll still be hearing from us, just in different ways.
Yes,
and
we are practicing the courage of trusting that when we take care of us, when we rest and allow ourselves that space to be, that it truly is all good.
Right. So I did draw from our little stones, our tenon stones, this morning before we started. And the tenet that we are leaving you with for the week is, I listen to the spiritual messages within my physical body. So what does your body tell you? What is it? Where do you need to dig deeper? What needs, a part of your body needs a little bit of extra loving? What is your body telling you? And I encourage you to dig and think about that and just meditate on that. I listen to the spiritual messages within my physical body. And with that, Reverend Jamie, you ready to share our 12 tenets?
I am.
All right. Let me just pop up here on our screen. Can you see that? Am I sharing? No, I'm not screen sharing.
I'm not sharing it.
All right, let me go. Technology is.
Oh, it's Mercury retrograde.
It's wonderful, but too many steps for me. All right, we'll put it now. So if you want to get us started, Jamie.
Absolutely. And just as you're guided and able, dropping into your heart center, dropping back into that space that Marianne took us to this morning in our opening blessing, and taking a nice deep breath in. And allowing these tenets to fill your being, fill your heart, fill your soul, and fill your cells. I open my heart with deep gratitude and intend today to master my spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical energies. I am dedicated to my spiritual practice. I surrender to my soul's purpose through sacred prayer. I own my guidance.
I live in partnership with my angels. I serve with a loving heart. I am compassionate in every moment.
I trust it's all good. I allow immediate forgiveness. I honor my truth.
I listen to the spiritual messages within my physical body. I express myself creatively. I am one with Mother Earth. And so it is.
And so it is. And as we step forth into this new week of new beginnings and new potentials and new possibilities, I'm going to share the prayer that me and Marianne crafted together, and I'm being guided to tweak the words just a little this week to fit with our topic. So just asking the divine creator source that as we walk through this week, we have the courage to keep an open mind, that we have a courage to see with the divine's eyes, that we have the courage to speak words of the divine, that we allow our hearts to exude the love that is and have the courage to be that love wherever we stand. And as we walk, may we walk in steps of courage and faith, trusting and knowing that it's all good, all is beautiful, all is well, and may we have the courage to be the embodiment of the love that we are. Blessed be, and so it is.
Blessed be. That was precious. I love it.
Yay.
And it takes courage to be the love and to be the light. So go and be the light in your world and let us join those lights together.
That's right.
And to light the way for others. Love you all. Thank you. We will see
Thank
you
you so
soon.
much. Bye.